Welcome back to Primetime News.
Special welcome to viewers on onespotmedia.com.
Up first this evening, good over evil, the words of popular entertainer Capleton after he was granted bail today at the Halfway Tree Parish Court.
Capleton, whose given name is Clifton Bailey, spent the weekend in police custody after being charged with rape.
His attorneys bashing the police, saying if they did a proper investigation, Capleton would not have been charged in the first place, as the woman making the allegations is being investigated for extorting the entertainer.
TVJ's Andrea Chisholm was in court and now reports.
Pandemonium outside the Halfway Tree police station on Monday as Clifton Bailey, more popularly known as Capleton, was granted bail in the sum of $250,000.
Good over
One second, Mr. Driver.
Marcus Garvey got to jail innocent.
Capleton, what would you say to your fans right now?
Just be strong, we in good spirit, it's all about life over death, it's all about good over evil. And I said, and I will continue to do good, Righteousness do exalt the nation.
On the compound, supporters, his mother, father and other family members,
No weapon the farm of God people can't fly.
plus colleagues including Tony Rebel, Queen Ifrica and Anthony Cruz.
Capleton is a person where a lot of people look up to, not only in Jamaica, right across the world. Capleton is a man of righteousness. Capleton always abund them thing there. So to find an accusation like this, as I was saying, it just don't make no sense. It's just not right.
As they waited on the outside, Capleton's attorney Christopher Townsend was on the inside making a case for his client. According to a statement from the police, about 11:20 on Saturday, April 28, Capleton allegedly hired a hairdresser to groom his hair at a hotel in New Kingston. It's reported that he forcibly had sexual intercourse with her. However, Mr. Townsend argued that the Center of Investigations of Sexual Offences and Child Abuse, CISOCA, made a mess of the case.
They went to the scene and they were told certain things that contradicted the complainant's account. They should have taken statement from those witnesses and presented to the authorities, certainly persons in higher command, so that a proper decision can be taken as it relates to the investigation moving forward.
Mr. Townsend provided more details.
There's in fact a parallel investigation investigating this young lady for attempting to extort money from the artist. Voice notes was sent to him as part of the extortion process, and so we have those voice notes, and I have been contacted by the police officers investigating that to turn over the documentation, the voice notes and the WhatsApp messages to them. I don't believe that he should have been charged at all. I believe in my client's innocence, and certainly if the investigation was done properly, they would have seen the major flaws that are now coming to the fore.
In granting bail, Parish Judge Vaughan Smith said Capleton should not have any contact with the complainant and was ordered to submit his fingerprints to the police. The clerk of court suggested that the 51-year-old entertainer should surrender his travel documents, but Mr. Townsend shot back, saying his client has several overseas shows from May 25 to July 27. The judge allowed Capleton to keep his travel documents, adding that if he missed one court date, he would revisit his decision. Capleton is to return to court on June 14. Meanwhile, for Tony Rebel, having a case before the court is one thing, the outcome is another.
Right now, there someone can charge me for anything. But if you are found guilty and you are sentenced, that is what I'm concerned about. But I would want to encourage all the entertainers to just stay away from getting into trouble or be vigilant, because sometimes you don't have to get into trouble, trouble will get into you.
Andrea Chisholm, TVJ News.
In other news now, more trouble is brewing in Westmoreland days after a flood devastated sections of the Little London community. Residents took to the streets today, calling for their political representatives to take action. TVJ's Kalisha Williams has his primetime news follow-up.
After the rain eased in sections of Little London, Westmoreland, the problems flooded in. Days after intermittent rainfall left residents marooned in areas such as Matney Lands and Bay Road, the murky water is making residents sick.
The water sour. And sometimes when we come out, and then must kill we in night time.
Water, nobody can
come out from out of their house. No one. Me have to make bridge go in my doorway, go in my house. You understand? And me have 4 young child in there. Be a mosquito. You understand? The drain around there so black up. We need it to clean off. We can take away water out.
Residents are picking up the pieces, literally. Debris washed into their community by the flood waters were used to block sections of the road. Scores of people were left stranded, but the residents were adamant. They are fed up with the snail's pace at which the authorities are moving.
I'm living here for the past 25 years, and I've never seen something like this. You understand? I need the politician them around this place to come.
It's terrible. They can't live in this state. Look at the state of this. I mean, I'm in total agreement with them. You want me to walk in this? Right now I'm getting ready to go to the airport. Where am I going to drive?
Councillor for the Little London Division, Ian Miles, says it will take some time before normality is restored to the community. He pointed out that there are 5 ponds in the area, all of which are filled to capacity.
We are doing all that we can as representatives to ensure that at least some of the water will be receded as quickly as possible. We have since sought to get an excavator to do some remedial work. It's difficult because of the nature of the soil at the moment in terms of the sogginess of it. But the owner, they have planned to come in the morning, tomorrow morning, to start effecting some of the remedial work that is needed to be done in these areas.
Kalisha Williams, TVJ News.
Questions continue to be raised as to how the bodies of 2 neonates could be found on the compound of Victoria Jubilee Hospital on Friday night. This evening, the senior medical officer at Victoria Jubilee Hospital, Dr. Orville Morgan, is insisting that there are strict protocols as to how these bodies should be handled. TVJ's Anthony Lugg spoke with the SMO today.
Who's responsible? That's the question being asked by many Jamaicans in relation to the dead babies found outside the Victoria Jubilee Hospital on Friday. Preliminary checks have revealed that the cleaning of a freezer at the morgue may be at the center of the problem. But our sources say that's not the only issue. We were informed that there's a major storage problem at the facility. So is this true? We put that question to the senior medical officer at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital, Dr. Orville Morgan.
There has been periodically over time, and it has occurred in the past. We have done what needs to be done in terms of reducing the pile-up. As a matter of fact, the pile-up we have reduced it tremendously from what it was earlier. And that process has been continuing and continues to move forward. But there are medical legal issues to be considered when we're removing bodies. So we have to make sure that first of all we can ascertain the cause of death of all of these babies before you can just bury them.
That's not all. We were also informed that management was written to on several occasions about the issue of storage.
I'm not too sure that it was written on several occasions. I was made aware. I'm just back from leave. Right, but I was aware that there was a pilot before I went on leave, and at that time, to my certain knowledge, we had done all the measures to reduce at least by 3/4 the amount of bodies that were there.
So far, the morgue supervisor has been sent on leave and an investigation has been launched. But on Sunday evening, Chairman of the South Regional Health Authority, SARA, Philip Armstrong, said a decision has been made for a member of the board of SARA to lead the probe.
We have to strengthen the processes that will make sure that this does not recur again.
Meanwhile, the opposition People's National Party PNP says its latest incident at the Kingston Public Hospital reveals an unspeakable lack of care and mismanagement of the hospital systems. They're calling for sanctions. The PNP is also objecting to the appointment of the director of the Southeast Regional Health Authority, SARA, Dr. Patrice Charles Freeman, to lead the investigation into the matter. Opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Dayton Campbell, argues that Mrs. Charles Freeman is being asked to look into a matter for which her board has direct oversight.
The governance structure of the Ministry of Health is that it has regional health authorities under which the different hospitals would fall. KPH, which is where this incident took place, falls under the Southern East Regional Health Authority, SIRHA. And Mrs. Charles Freeman is a director of the board that has direct oversight responsibility of KPH. We believe, therefore, that it's inappropriate for her to be the person who is leading the investigation because it would be tantamount to her investigating herself. We think that there needs to be an independent body or individual that is charged with doing the investigation.
A 16-year-old student of Bogwalk High School in St. Catherine is dead and another injured following a stabbing incident this afternoon. TVJ News understands that the incident took place at a plaza in Bogwalk. It's understood that the two students had a disagreement when they pulled sharp objects and stabbed each other. One of the students died while the other is in hospital. We'll have more on this developing story in subsequent newscasts.
A top story this evening, entertainer Capleton granted bail on a rape charge. Still ahead, St. James politician livid after NWC dug up a road 4 days after it was paved. And in business news, not true. Entertainment company denies claim it's not hiring locals to perform in hotels. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Continuing the news. The Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM, is seeking to have one of the judges who heard a constitutional motion brought against it by the Jamaica Defence Force recuse herself from writing the judgment in the case. Justice Carol Lawrence Beswick is one of the 3 judges who more than 2 years ago heard the case in which the JDF is seeking to stop INDECOM's investigation of the use of mortars during the May 2010 West Kingston security operations. That judgment is pending. Her husband, Paul Beswick, last month represented the JDF in the Keith Clark case, in which 3 soldiers are accused of murder. In both cases, the issue of immunity has been raised based on certificates signed by the National Security Minister. INDECOM says it has taken action on the basis that the judge is married to the lawyer representing the JDF in a similar matter. The application is to be heard on Thursday in the Supreme Court.
The gang violence between the 11 Miles community in St. Thomas and 9 Miles in St. Andrew is once again in the spotlight. Very little is being said about what's happening in the communities, but the residents say lives are being lost and many are inconvenienced by the war. Kirk Wright has this primetime news update.
They're noisy and small in numbers, but these residents of 11 Miles St. Thomas hit the streets on Monday hoping their message will bring about change. Change in the level of violence that's been taking place between gangs from their community and 9 Miles in Bull Bay, St. Andrew. The two communities are in close proximity. The latest victim, Anthony Sylvester Davidson, was gunned down at his gate on Sunday night.
I never expect a man like that to die that way. Because him not do nobody nothing, the only thing him do at rough and run him joke and say him a rubber man. Him have him 3 acres of coffee farm. Him have him nice house. But I don't know, I just can't see through it.
They say the impact on the community, and particularly the children, is real.
Every night we go to bed, pay gunshots. We poor children terrified in them bed. My daughter, she trembled the whole night last night.
The residents say the violence between the 11 Miles and Bull Bay communities is disrupting their daily routine.
We are lively party people. We enjoy ourselves. We go to church. No, we can't even come out. We don't know what is this. We don't know what. We just need back some peace and love in the community.
The police patrol frequently, but it seems the gangs have learned their pattern.
They patrol. They try. Them hand full. Because everybody knows that these guys are well organized. And so we can't expect the police to come in and run up under the bush and whatever and so on.
Monday's protest was to signal that the residents have had enough with the violence.
We are lively party people. We enjoy ourselves. We go to church. No, we can't even come out. We don't know what is this. We don't know what. We just need back some peace and love in the community.
They want outside help to curb the crime.
We need at least a curfew or something. We need to meet with some people or something right here. We need to know what. We need some answers.
Kirk Wright, TVJ News.
The family of one of the victims of the nightclub fire in St. Mary over a week ago is again demanding answers from the police. The family is livid as a post-mortem was done on their relative's body without their knowledge. TVJ's Herman Green has their story.
On the heels of Mother's Day, a mother mourns for her daughter. Shauna K. Sims is believed to be one of the victims in the nightclub fire in St. Mary on May 4. But more than a week later, her relatives are still seeking answers and now wondering if there's a cover-up surrounding her death. Her father, Noel Sims, says he suspects the family is getting the runaround. Firstly, he says they were told the body was burnt to bones and ashes, and so a DNA test would be needed to determine its identity. Then they were told that 3 bodies were found in the rubble. While seeking details and a chance to view the body at the Port Maria police station, they were redirected to Ocho Rios.
So I leave and go to Ochi. When I leave to Ochi in a year or two, and I explain to the lady, they say, boy, I'm going to put my hands on Ochi. They say, why they send them to Ochi? And it's them of the investigation down there.
He went back to Port Maria where he was told a post-mortem would have to be done. Mr. Sims says a police inspector took his number and promised to call, but after days of waiting, he decided to seek an update.
So I call her now for where I go on, the post-mortem. I call her, I can't get her. So, I call her 2 times, she don't answer. I call her 3rd time, she answer. Who is this? I say, Mr. Sims, who? I say, Shana came for the girl that burned the fire. She said, oh. So you're not the post-mortem. So I say, with the post-mortem one time, but I tell you if we go post-mortem. You understand? You say, look, call me. So how come down before the post-mortem?
He was again promised a call which would provide further details, but after almost half an hour with no contact, he called the Port Maria station.
And get the next man, I explain myself to him. You see, I say, boy, go to Spanish Town and Archard Funeral Home now, the postman taking place now. So jump in the cab and say, go out there. You reach out and then call again. Say, don't waste the time go out there because we take back the body to Port Maria, to Brownstown and St. Michael Funeral Home.
For Shauna K's mother, Grace Hunter Hardy, the lack of information from day one raises suspicion.
And now you know go postmart the body. Behind your back again. Something not right. Something not add up.
Attempts to get a comment from the Port Maria police have been unsuccessful. The family says based on what's happening, they want to hear directly from head of the Area 2 Police, Assistant Commissioner Norman Haywood, or they may take further action.
We don't rely upon the police to do the investigation, but as far as we say, we not get no justice from the police them, so we're going to go through and get with a lawyer to help us do our investigation.
Herman Green, TVJ News.
There is uproar again about miscommunication between state agencies in relation to roadworks after a newly paved roadway in St. James was dug up by the National Water Commission. The Member of Parliament for St. James Central, Heroy Clark, is livid as he believes the ongoing issue continues to waste taxpayers' monies. Herman Green reports.
The Brandon Hill Main Road in Montego Bay, St. James, a major roadway into the city, paved last week Wednesday by the Municipal Corporation, dug up 4 days later by the National Water Commission, NWC. The political representatives are livid.
And I can't understand why Water Commission continue to do this.
Member of Parliament for St. James Central, Heroy Clark, said last week's roadwork was part of a $7 million rehabilitation project. He says he went as far as to contact the NWC about the planned repair work.
I spoke to the person in charge some time ago. I said to him, we have some work to be done on this road, Brandon Hill, and I would love for them to come in, do what they have to do so that we would do one overlane. And just as we get the work done, Water Commission came and dug up the road in this manner and has left it since, not knowing when they are coming back.
But NWC's corporate communications manager, Charles Buchanan, insists that the commission only does this kind of work if it is necessary, and that the work done on the weekend was an emergency job for a critical water main.
Had we not taken steps to remove or repair the leak, water would be going to waste. We would also have had a situation the water would have caused damage to the area. So it's essential that we undertake these works.
Mr. Buchanan noted that there is an agreement with the National Works Agency for consultations before works are done, and communication is usually sought with other entities when possible. However, he insists that In urgent cases, communication and consultation is not practical.
If you have a broken main that is disrupting service to some customers, creating a public nuisance, threatening to damage the pipeline even more, and running up the non-revenue water levels for the NWC, it is essential that we immediately undertake those repairs. And those repairs do not usually wait for some kind of discussion with the other entities. In many instances, they have to be attended to urgently.
However, the Member of Parliament says he will be seeking to address the issue at a higher level.
Intention, I'll be going to Parliament tomorrow and I'll be speaking directly with the Minister who has portfolio duties for Water Commission, because sometimes, many a times, it seems as if Water Commission is by and large to themselves. They don't answer to anyone.
Herman Green, TVJ News.
Time now for this week's edition of A Ray of Hope.
A Ray of Hope is brought to you by
Sports bringing value home.
It's not something one might see often among the list of things women do. But for Tracy and Hall, repairing motor cars is a passion.
I just like cars from when I was a child.
For the last 15 years, Tracy has been sharing her knowledge of automotive repairs with high school students. It's a love she developed from a young age.
I like fixing and, because I usually pull up things in the house, clocks and all of that. So I said, all right, let me try this. And I did. And I started at St. Catherine High, which I was pretty young, about 14.
Tracy Ann is an instructor at the Jonathan Grant High School in St. Catherine in the Automotive Technology Department. Just last year, Tracy was selected out of 22,000 teachers across the world as a top 10 finalist for the Global Teacher Prize under the Varkey Foundation. She was also second runner-up for the LASCO Teacher of the Year and the Teacher of the Year at her school.
Miss All teaches very good information.
She has inspired us a lot.
If she see her fall back and she see her going on a different crowd, she'll be like, you are not that type of student and I know who you are, and she will just straighten up.
There are teachers in Jamaica, like myself, who will go the extra mile to ensure that your child is successful in whatever career path they choose.
Tracy Ann believes students must be allowed to pursue their dreams no matter what they choose.
It really gives them that sense of accomplishment that they can do something. So don't force them into the traditional subjects that they might not be strong at.
She started a program called LEG. It's to help students learn, earn, and grow.
A student who would not have excelled in might be business or one of those traditional subjects, they have garnered enough knowledge. They would go out in the industry, they would be ready to actually start as a full-fledged apprentice. So it really gives me that sense of accomplishment that I have prevented a child from going astray.
And for students,
the sky is the limit, even beyond the sky. I mean, there's so much that you can do. Even when you finish in high school, if you do have to go out in the industry to work because of financial challenges, work and still send yourself back to school. Education is the only way out of poverty, and I encourage students to stick to whatever they choose to do.
With A Ray of Hope, I'm Kian Morgan. A Ray of Hope is brought to you by
Sports bringing value home.
And time now for the responses from our friends on Facebook and Twitter. And Archie is at the smartboard.
Thanks, Lorraine. Here's what we're asking this evening. We're asking, are you satisfied that all is being done to coordinate between the NWC and the NWA, that's the National Water Commission, and the National Works Agency regarding road works? Here's our first comment. Not going to make much of a difference anyway, says this person. They're just going to haste with all the work like they always do, and within a year or 3, they'll have to be working on it again, if not sooner. Second comment, well, I don't think that nothing has been done between both the NWA and NWC. I'm a resident of a New Green district in Mandeville, and the road in my community is a disaster. Taxi not even want to bring us home. Here's a third comment. From the heavy rain that will fall at Montego Bay, the road and mash up, especially in the Salt Spring area, Montego Heights and other areas, all know them can't fix it. And our final comment for this section is, I believe with the amount of road works being done, the two agencies are coordinating